Welcome along to Track Talk Under Lights for the first meeting of March. And well, I'm pleased to welcome onto the show our latest guest, a man I've been wanting to get on this show for a little while, and he has finally relented, where both sartorial elegance come both in dress sense and also in the saddle. Louis Beuzelin, great to have you on the show, and great to catch up with you. How are you?
Thank you very much. Yeah, very well, extremely well actually, and happy to finally be on the show.
I'm sure you
finally be invited.
Well, you're on, and you're not going anywhere for a little while. Louis obviously has had such a great start to the year. We've got plenty to get through, but just in a brief summary, 2020 is going pretty well for you.
Yeah, it's going pretty well. I'm very happy with the horses that I've ridden and riding so far, and the morning work and everything. The groundwork is kind of feeding, keeping the system going. Yeah,
for sure. Let's jump straight into it then. And a couple of recent big winners for Louis. The first of them this year was Count Monte Cristo in the Chairman's Trophy. We're going to have a look back at this race, Louis. You can talk us through this. Obviously, you were the man on board, and this win would have really cemented your place here now. Would that be fair?
Yeah, it can be. It's always nice to, when you see the feature races being replayed on at the races in the afternoons. It's always nice to see yourself winning the feature races. Obviously, personally, I'll always want to do more and achieve more and be better at what I do in any aspect. So. I'm staying humble, and I'm going to keep the head down and keep working to keep doing what I'm doing.
Indeed, you're doing it well. So as you've just left the back here, is he a nice? He looks a really nice horse to ride, this Count Monte Cristo.
Yeah, he is a very nice. He's a gentleman's ride. You can position him anywhere in the race basically. There was a question of is there going to be enough space, which was to follow, and all this. So there was a lot of options before the race. I got to the barriers and just,
Did you know here you were going to win?
Not really. No. I still had a few lengths to make up, but as soon as I asked him, as soon as I pressed the accelerator, that's when he picked up in a couple strides, And right here, I knew I had the race in the bag,
Yeah, you said to me after the race that you felt you almost idled that little bit in the final stages, so a bit more still to work on him. And well, the participants and the viewers will see him run on Saturday. So, for all you're not on him, you must be looking forward to seeing him run again.
Yeah, exactly. Because I think there was some room for improvement even after that win, So he needed. I think he the last 50 meters physically he probably needed it.
Yeah.
So, no, it would be interesting to see him run. This Saturday for sure.
And obviously the ball didn't stop rolling there. The Silver Bowl recently was the first leg of the 4-year-old series, and Bold Thruster, another horse, a top line horse for Michael Clements, added to the CV for you. I guess you're going to start extending that trophy cabinet sometime soon.
Yeah, I hope it continues. Yeah, in this race with Bold Thruster, there was a stable companion, obviously, who was considered unbeatable before the race.
Yeah.
And
was that did you go into the race thinking that? Did you think no?
Absolutely not. On paper, that's all the lights were flashing in that direction. My biggest worry was the barriers, jumping out the barriers and keeping him relaxed. Going to the start and behind the barriers, just keeping him as relaxed as possible. I never focused on whoever else was in the race. I was just focused on Bold Thruster, keeping him relaxed, switched off. Which he was, and that's permitted him to jump well at the barriers and have a good race in front.
He certainly did, and obviously at this point you're a couple of lengths clear. He seemed to do it very comfortably, Louis. Always this horse.
He was cruising there, and the only thought at this stage in the back of my mind was, when is Top Night going to come? Something's going to get me.
Yeah.
In light blue. When is he coming? He's going to come now. He's about to come. Keep going.
Could you sense how close he was?
Oh yeah, I can hear him.
Yeah.
And I saw him in the corner of my eye right here, and I thought I was begging for that line. Boom, and got it done.
And there it was, high fives all round. Another nice prize for you there. So a couple of really good wins here so far in Singapore. That's 2 wins out of your 6 this year, which is great, really.
Yeah. No, it's really good. It's just hope it keeps going, and I have to get on the right horses for these feature races. Obviously, you know, because these horses are like Top 9, Bow Thruster, Count of Monte Cristo, everyone wants to get on them. Just that's why my job as a professional is always, you know, is always asking more, because all eyes are on me every weekend of the racing.
Yeah, for sure.
I can get suspended,
of course,
you know, and not be there for the feature races.
Sure.
Or, you know, something can happen wrong in the race and the owners are unhappy and take me off a horse. That's another thing, you know. Us jockeys have a lot of pressure to put up with.
We certainly do. Talking of getting on horses, let's go back to the very beginning, because French, yes, by blood, but obviously brought up in the Caribbean, in Barbados. Talk us through racing at Garrison Savannah. It looks very unique, very much unlike this track here. We've got some footage here of the Garrison. What's this place like to ride?
It's very electric, you know, the atmosphere there, you feel like the whole of Barbados comes around the actual race course, because everyone stands around the actual track. So as a jockey, it's very, you know, it's this buzzy atmosphere that it's comparable to a Royal Ascot, but in a much smaller.
Every weekend.
Yeah, but on a much smaller size. But yeah, it's the same, you know, electric feeling where the whole crowd is cheering, everyone's watching, and it's 6 furlongs the whole way around, so
That's
you're always
incredible.
turning, you're always going quick, and keep going.
And did you ride many winners back home?
Yeah, I rode a few. I can't count them on
Sure.
a hand. I think 21.
Okay.
21.
And what about the sort of the competition there? I imagine it's quite competitive. Obviously, some good jockeys. You and I were talking earlier on before we started the show that obviously a lot of them go to Canada and different places as well. That done quite. Patrick Husband's one of them.
Yeah, Patrick Husband, John O'Jones, Ricky Walcott. Very good jockeys, you know. They're stylish. I mean, yeah, it's quick racing, you know.
Yeah.
So you got to be sharp to ride there.
Yeah,
So when they go over to Canada and America, they succeed, you know. But I went over the other side of the pond to England.
You did, and that leads me on very nicely indeed, because England was where you went over to the UK, obviously, and there was a connection there with one of our greatest trainers, Sir Michael Stoute. You went to him. What was that like when you first landed in England and then off to Newmarket? I mean, that was a bit of a baptism for you.
Yeah. Honestly, when you arrive in Newmarket, coming from Barbados.
How old were you here?
I was 16.
Wow.
My horse is called Imposing. He went over to Australia to run.
Did he really?
Yeah.
And what was this man like to work for?
He's got a character, you
Does
know. When you give him feedback after the gallops, he'd write everything down on his hand
Really?
with no pen, which is quite interesting.
Yeah.
You know, that's just, you know, a special human being, so intelligent. He'd know all of the pedigrees of every single horse and have a program for every single horse.
Yeah.
Extremely patient. So I think I had the best apprenticeship available, working with for me,
Sure.
I consider him as
Oh, he's a legend.
a legend
Yeah.
of a horse trainer.
For sure.
And very patient, extremely patient, which you know, taught me today the patience to have in the racing, which we need for every single horse anywhere in the world. You know, you can't rush everything and expect to become the best.
No, indeed.
Yeah.
And talking of being the best, one of your big wins, or your biggest win in the UK, arguably, was the 2010 Cesarovich. It'll be 10 years this autumn. I'm going to try and make you feel old, but Aim to Prosper for Brian Meehan, a horse that had won it again a couple of years later, ridden by Kieran Fallon, who you were telling me earlier on, obviously was a bit of a mentor to you, along with the likes of Frankie Dettori and Ray Cochrane and a few other people.
Yeah, I had the luck. I had the privilege of learning from the best in the world in this profession. You know, I had the choice of going to Canada, but I went to England, where I worked for the best, for me, one of the best trainers in the world. When I arrived there, Kieran Fallon was you know, serving suspension, so he was riding out every morning. He'd drive me to the races, sometimes walk the track with me wherever I'd be going racing. Then I had Frankie Dettori's agent, Ray Cochran, who used to, really give me feedback and about my races, how to ride, do different things, which I learned along the way. And then, Frankie, obviously, because we were the only two jockeys under Ray Cochran's, agenting. I'd go racing with him. And so after the races, we'd go back to his house and get on the mechanical horse. He'd give me a few tips on my riding style and everything. And that's what made me today who I am, is all of this: Kieran Fallon, Ray Cochran, Sir Michael Stoute, and also Ryan Moore. Ryan Moore became first jockey for Sir Michael Stoute around that period. So, he gave me the right mentality to have with the trainers and with the horses, and basically what to think as a young 17-year-old apprentice arriving in the mecca of horse racing, the best horse racing in the world at that time, and even today with the best horse breeding in the world. So it was really exceptional.
Indeed. Regrettably, Louis, we are running out of a little bit of time, but just finally, one final question. Where's Louis-Philippe Beuzelin in, say, 5 years and maybe 10 years? Where do you see yourself?
Honestly, the first thing I told myself when I arrived here in Singapore was I regretted not to have come here 10 years ago.
That's interesting.
Because I went to France because it is financially the most interesting for a jockey in Europe. So hence why I went to France, which was very good. Also, big learning curve working with good trainers. But the first thing I said was I should have come here. So long ago. I love Singapore. Everything, the transport. Work in the morning, go home with the bus, and everything it's just simplifies life in itself.
Indeed. So in 5 years, Louis Beuzelin will still be riding winners at Crownji?
I hope so.
Listen, Louis, it's been great to have you on the show. Many thanks for coming on, and we look forward to calling plenty of winners home for you in the next few months and years.
I hope so. Got to keep the ball going and keep the name for myself.
Indeed, I'm sure you will. Ladies and gentlemen, Louis Beuzelin, our guest on the show. Let's have a look at some of the details ahead of racing coming up on Friday night. Let's look at the premierships there. Louis doesn't feature on it just yet, but I'm sure he could easily in due course. Vlad Jurek's on top for the jockeys, Mark Walker the trainers, Simon Cock the apprentices. Details, short course C in action coming up this Friday night. We've got 3 on the turf, 5 on the poly, and we start at 6:50 on Friday evening. 8 races coming up. Do join us after this break, and we'll be previewing all 8 races for you here on Track Talk on the Lights.
They're off. And Salamans was slow looking for Bold Thruster. He jumped on terms with them. Top 9 about midfield to go. Around the home turn, and Bold Thruster is held together by Beuzelin at the 400. He's 4 lengths in front. 150 to go. Bold Thruster the leader. Top 9 is really starting to surge home. It's Bold Thruster on empty. Top 9's within a length, but Bold Thruster keeps going, and Bold Thruster a 5th group win. He's a good horse, Bold Thruster. Beat Top 9 Cyan Blue Vander.